If you're up for it, let's imagine a very scary scenario for a moment. Imagine you're sitting in solitary confinement for 72 hours. You're sitting in a small white room with nothing but a toilet in it. No phone, no TV, no external stimulation, just absolutely nothing. Throughout the 72 hours, bright white lights are shining on you at all times, basically forcing insomnia on you, so you can't even sleep your way through the 72 hours to escape the boredom. How long do you think you'd be able to last before you end up going batshit and start bashing your head against the wall? But let's say after the first 48 hours, a guard comes up to you and tells you that the only thing you're allowed to do for the next 24 hours is that one thing you've always procrastinated in your life. How fast would you agree to do that activity? I have routinely struggled to do the hard work that I know I've always meant to do, whether it be in school, working on my online businesses, working on my internships or my jobs. And even if I managed to muster up the motivation that I knew I needed to get in order to do these tasks, the quality of the work would be terrible. Whether it be for my school and grades, I would end up writing an essay or end up completing a project that I knew was of low quality. I would do just enough work to convince myself that I found winning products for the day, or I would make just enough cold calls, or I would make just enough emails to say to myself that today was a good hard day of work. But after this joke of a study session, I wouldn't be able to tell you one thing that I had learned. But the funny part is that I would come back after getting a grade and be upset that I did poorly, or when I made no progress in my business, I would wonder why I was able to sign any clients or why I got 0 sales. And the reason for all of this was because my brain was used to having options. My brain was used to only having fun. My brain would only respond to things that I would find enjoyable in the moment, and when it came to doing the hard work, it was impossible. When I sat down to do the hard work, my brain knew that I had other options available to me. My brain knew I had options. But what if I didn't? What if I was in solitary confinement? How much more likely if I was in solitary confinement and that guard came up to me and said the only thing I could do was read this biology textbook, or the only thing I could do was make cold calls, or the only thing I could do was find winning products? How quickly would I have been to agree to do that task, but do it to the best of my ability to escape the boredom that I was facing? Now, I described this scenario about myself, but can you relate to this in any way? There's no number one secret to success, or there's just no single secret to success, but if there was, this would be the single closest thing to it. If you want to level up, you must be bored more often. You need to have less options or less enjoyable things around you at all times. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have fun and you shouldn't have an enjoyable life. That's not what I'm saying. But you need to go through a phase of your life where these options or these fun things need to be less available to you if you want to level up at the rate that I know you want to. Your brain has limited attention, limited focus, and limited energy given to it every single day that you wake up. So why waste it on cheap dopamine activities that have done nothing but really just make your life worse? How do you expect yourself to do the hard things that you've continuously put off if your brain always knew you have other options around? If you always have your phone around you when you're working, or you're working in an environment where there's always external stimulation, how do you expect your brain to give this task your 100% focus? And let's take another scenario. Let's say there's a problem in your life right now that you need to solve, but you've continuously procrastinated on making the decision. And the reason you've procrastinated on making the decision, you find it uncomfortable to sit there and actually think about coming up with solutions to solve this problem. But what if instead you just sat in your room for 30 minutes to 1 hour with just complete silence, with no stimulation around you, and you just gave 30 minutes to thinking about actually solving this problem? Do you not think in 30 minutes to 1 hour you would actually come up with an effective solution? Our society has convinced us that being bored and being uncomfortable is a bad thing, and there's nothing further from the truth. Being bored is actually a great thing for you because it forces your brain to come up with creative solutions. However, society has told us that if we feel bored, we should continuously run to our laptop, run to our phone, run to our consoles to distract us from this uncomfortable feeling. And because of this, we're now soft. We're not able to actually sit there and dedicate time to achieve something because, again, like I said, we're just soft, and anytime we feel uncomfortable, or we find discomfort in actually concentrating and doing the hard work, we break up our attention and we break up our focus to these cheap dopamine activities. You've likely heard the quote in the past that there's greatness sitting inside of you, and not to be cliche, but there literally is. You just have never given yourself the chance for this greatness to come out of you because you've always forced distraction upon yourself. If you just be a little bit bored more often and let your brain let the greatness come out of you, I promise within just a few months and in just 1 year, you would be shocked at the progress and the success that you would see. With this channel, I'm documenting basically me living this lifestyle, and I can't wait to show you within a 1 year of what I'm able to produce because of living this lifestyle. My advice, if it matters at all to you, is that sit there with your thoughts more often, or if you're working, just give that work your undivided attention and focus, and let your brain actually produce and let your brain come up with creative solutions, and you'd be surprised at what your brain can actually do. And towards the end of actually doing this, you'd be shocked at what your brain is actually able to muster up and create. And if you do this more often and you start living like this, you will start to notice that the work or the stuff that you produce ends up getting even better. Once you do this consistently, the quality of your decisions, the quality of your work all increasingly goes up. So be bored more often and the results will follow. Let the greatness come out of you and you'll thank yourself later. That's all I have for this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.